Hi, it's Sandy Wiley. Today I'm going to talk about a very sad subject, and that is feeling unlovable. Do you feel unlovable? Do you feel that you're incapable of anyone ever really loving you for who you are? That you have to put on like a facade just to fit in? Do you feel ugly? Do you feel stupid, not smart enough, fat, not thin enough, dull, not having enough personality? Do you feel like everyone else is doing better in life? Everyone else has all the friends. Everyone else has all the partners, the lovers. Everyone else has, it better than you. The reason why I did this video is, I've felt very unlovable. And I think that's why I made all those mistakes in getting sexually involved with my psychologist. And I know my husband also feels unlovable, and I'll go into that too. What really made me think about doing this video is recently my high school teacher, Mr. John Mullen, died. And a friend of his posted his funeral service on his Facebook page. One thing I love about Facebook is that if you died, they'll still keep your page up, and people can post on your page all the memories that they have or that they had of you. And I thought that was very special. And someone went to his funeral and filmed his wake, or filmed the church service. And his daughter got up. He only had one child. He has a daughter named Jessica, and she's 40 years old. And she said something pretty heartbreaking. She said, "My dad always felt he was unlovable." And I was really, that really affected me when I heard that. But why it even affected me, well, I felt very sad, profound sadness, first of all. Why it even affected me more is because after he died, on his Facebook page, you had like tons and tons of his students. Now, he was a teacher. He retired at age 70, but he must have been teaching for like, oh my God, like over 50 years. He taught all his life. And all the students came on after his death, and they said like they were devastated, like they were just like traumatized by his death. Like he was, he was such an awesome teacher. He was a religion teacher and a French teacher, but he really inspired the students. He went on retreats with them, spiritual retreats. So he was more than just a classroom teacher. He went on these religious, spiritual retreats with these students, and it was just an outpouring of how much that he touched their lives. And here I am watching the church service for his funeral, and hearing his daughter get up on the podium and saying, "My dad felt unlovable," and thinking, "Oh my God, too bad, he didn't see his Facebook with tons and tons of students coming forth saying how much that he's changed their life in a profound way, how much they're going to intensely miss him, the impact that he had on these young girls." And it's just so sad that he felt that way, and it just wasn't true. So I'm almost like tearing up now because, it's one thing to feel a way and it being true, but to feel that you're not lovable and it isn't true and you don't know it, that's the real tragedy. That you are lovable, We all are lovable. But to have that much impact on these young girls' lives and not know it, not feel lovable. So that's why I wanted to come on and do this video. When you feel that way, if that's your core belief that you're unlovable, it becomes a place you make decisions from. So in the end, you prove the core belief true without even realizing it is you doing so. You live up to your own warped expectations. And that's what happened with this teacher of mine. I still kept in touch with him. He lived in the same town. He lived in Rosendale. I mean, I'd see him on the streets. I even went in his house. We were like friendly. I used to, before email and all that, in the internet, I used to write him. We used to write each other like pen pals. I found out when he got divorced, and I told him about giving birth to my children. I told him about my affair with my psychologist. In other words, we knew what was going on in each other's lives. So, yeah. So that's very sad that, you kind of like, you ever hear of a self-fulfilling prophecy? If you believe something, even if it's not true, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You make it true by your own actions. You don't feel lovable, so you're standoffish and you shy away from people, and it just proves like, oh, see, no one cares about me, but what are you doing? You see what I'm saying? You're making that so by your own actions because you're acting like you believe, even if it isn't true. Now, if you have this core belief that you are unlovable, you probably have a strong pattern in your life of choosing partners who are emotionally unavailable. And I think that's what my husband did, choosing me, because I never really was in love with my husband. It is like marrying your best friend. He's awesome. Picture your best friend, your best buddy, right? Like you two are like this, really, you can read each other's thoughts. You just love your best friend. Love, love, love. But there's no chemistry. There's no spark, right? It's like, that's my best gal pal. I love her to pieces. I'd do anything for her. I love her. But it's not like, you have lust or chemistry or sexual desire, So that's how it was marrying my husband. But the men that I had the sexual desire and the chemistry and all that, they were no good. See? So, and why? Why would I be attracted to men like that? Because of my childhood. Everything in psychology, let me tell you this. Everything that you are boils down to your childhood, okay? Whether you know so or not. It's all how we were treated as children. Childhood trauma is a leading cause of adults feeling unlovable. Hear this out, people. Hear this out. Childhood trauma is a leading cause of adults feeling unlovable. You might not even know. You might have blocked it out, and I've had some people say, my parents were the best parents in the world. I had a terrific childhood. And they didn't, because I know things about their childhood which were abusive. But they've convinced themselves that they had the best parents. They had the best childhoods. But why are they picking all these losers for partners? Or why can't they stay in a stable relationship? Or why are they divorcing 4 times in a row? I was friends with a woman who was divorced 4 times. Now, in Hollywood, that's normal. everyone, I mean, divorce is 50%, right? Everyone gets divorced. I mean, you know several people got divorced once, right? Maybe a few people you know got divorced twice. One of my best friends was divorced 3 times. And a very good friend of mine was divorced 4 times. Now, that's a little odd, don't you think? 4 times? 3 times? Once? Yes, yes. You don't even bat an eye when someone says I'm divorced. You don't even bat an eye. Twice? Yeah. 3 times? You start saying, whoa, Nelly. But that is true. This might have been from the loss of a parent, or sibling, being abandoned or neglected by a parent, having a mentally unwell or addicted parent. Now, that was me. Well, my father was paranoid schizophrenic. That's one of the worst mental, that is one of the worst, if not the worst mental illnesses out there. Paranoid schizophrenia. Look it up. I did other videos, and I'm not going to waste my time talking about it. But yes, and my father was also addictive. He was a compulsive gambler. Another thing. And my mother was very abusive. She was a narcissistic. Oh, I could go on and on ad nausea about her, but I'm not going to get into that. Childhood sexual abuse in particular leaves children with a damaged view of themselves. Now, I have repressed memories of my childhood, which I said in the last video. Was I sexually abused? Not by my father. I can 100% guarantee it wasn't by my father. And I'm not just saying that. I'm being honest. My father, we used to say how disgusting that is. He didn't understand how other men could, do that, have sex with their daughter. I mean, he said he was just repulsed by it. And he had strong beliefs about it. He said, even if you were to stand totally naked in front of me, I would feel absolutely nothing. Because, like, you're my daughter. He couldn't wrap his head around how anyone could do that, So, but my father left home when I was young for years. And my mother dated strange men. Now, did they sexually abuse me? I haven't a clue. Don't know. I blocked all memory out of that time my father left home. I mean, he was committed to mental institutions. I already know my mother beat me up and left bleeding welts. I shouldn't go into this because it's YouTube, but I don't know if anything else happened, So, all right, so had a seemingly perfect childhood. What if you've had a seemingly perfect childhood but feel unlovable? Children need unconditional love, empathy, and acceptance to grow up into adults who feel loved. If despite outward appearances, your main caregiver was, say, depressed or controlling, prone to ignoring you, or only showing you love when you were a good girl. Oh, those types? Yeah. They'll only love you if you're a good girl or a quiet boy. Then you can end up believing you are unlovable as is, right? If your parent used conditions on you, like, if you're quiet, if you get A's in school, if you this, fill in the blank, if you that, fill in the blank, then I'll love you. But not if you're yourself. You could never be yourself. See what I'm saying? If you don't live up to your parents' expectations, even if they didn't verbally or physically or sexually abuse you, if you didn't live up to their expectations, then you can feel unlovable because you feel like you always have to perform, or in order to get people to like you. Because, mommy and daddy only liked me if I was making straight A's. If I wasn't making straight A's, and or if I didn't, make the basketball team or, something like that, then, see how it is if you didn't live up to their expectations and you were no good. So you feel like, you never can do enough or be enough for someone because you were raised like that. It's all stems from our childhood. Now, people, that feel unlovable, it's very, very, this is extremely serious. They have these psychological conditions. And right here, I'm reading off this health blog, okay, mental health blog. Sadly, it's a leading case of suicide, feeling unlovable. That is not me saying this. That is me reading off this mental health blog, all right? It can lead to depression and anxiety, low self-esteem, fear of intimacy and trust issues, repressed anger, codependency or counterdependency, fear of abandonment, moi, right here, relationships issues, lack of identity or identity crisis, perfectionism, addictive behaviors, including alcoholism and drugs, eating disorders and overeating, social anxiety disorder, I have that. And the last line is me, my diagnosis, borderline personality disorder, here in spades. So, this is very serious stuff. It isn't just like, oh, isn't that sad? Oh, that's too bad. You don't feel unlovable. That's the leading cause of suicide. I just read this from a health blog, okay? This is serious stuff. People become addicts. People abuse drugs. People go into depressions. There's a whole history of this. So that's why I wanted to come on and talk about it. Now, what can you do? It talks about the different therapies you can do for. They talk about diabolical behavioral therapy, DBT, CBT, and all that. And I'm not going into all these therapies. As you know, I'm anti-therapy because therapy destroyed my life. I mixed in with the wrong psychologist, and as a result, it only harmed me. It didn't help me. I'll tell you what you can do from my own personal experience. At a certain point, after so many people, my best friend Holly, my psychologist that I was in love with and had a 2-year affair with Jim, my other psychologist of 16 years, and etc. My cousin Steven, who was like a brother to me, who stabbed me in the back. After so many of these happened, these people letting me down, I decided I'm not looking outward anymore toward people I don't need people. Okay, I know they say no man is an island, and I have my husband and my 2 sons, so I'm not an island. Well, I am an island, but I have people in my life. I have my husband, I have my sons. But before, I would look out toward other people for approval, to feel worthy within me. Now, I don't do that anymore. I don't need anyone outside of myself and my family, which makes it, I'm not looking to be loved by anyone. Like, I have my poetry, I have my YouTube videos on psychology, I have all my books. I've written like 3 dozen books. I have my newsletter on LinkedIn about unethical psychologists. So every day, my day is filled up. I exercise every day too. I have my house and yard work. I mean, every moment of my day is filled with my own work, my own creativity. And I put it out there and I share it with everyone. But I don't need your approval, and I don't need your acceptance. And I just, and I'm almost 60. I'm not saying this took a long, long time to get to right here, this point. So the reason why I don't feel, I used to feel very unlovable. But the reason now I don't feel like that as much is because I'm not looking outwardly at other people to make me feel something, I'm not looking for anyone on the outside. I'm not looking for people to fulfill me or to make me happy. Like before, I used to think I needed to have friends. It's not normal not to have friends. I had to have friends. I had to have friends, you know? And it didn't matter how they treated me, you know? It was just like, oh, I need to have friends. I got to have Linda. I got to have Holly. I got to have Janice. I got to have Steve. I got to have Randy. I got to have blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Like, I have to. Like, you know, like, what is it? Like, you know, like a guy needs, he has sex with all these women, like he needs another notch on his bedpost to make him feel like a man, you know? Like, I've had like 40, 50 women, like, really make him feel macho. Like, I had all these women. But now, I don't feel like that anymore. You know, I'm not desperate. That's the word. I'm not desperate. I don't look to other people outside of, you know, outside for happiness, because I've created happiness within me, with my creativity, with what I'm doing with my life. I feel fulfilled in what I'm doing with my life, that I don't look outside. Like, even when I went to Paris, okay, I always wanted to go to Paris. And, you know, Andrew didn't want to go to Paris. And it wasn't, you know, just like with Colorado, it wasn't, you know, you think, oh, you went to Paris, how romantic. No, it wasn't romantic. Zero romantic. It didn't matter, you know. It was more important that I wanted to see Paris, and I saw Paris. If you want to see whatever you want to see, you don't need a guy or a girlfriend to go here or there, or a guy, you know, doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I mean, at this stage of my life, you know, I can enjoy whatever. I don't like to travel alone. I don't like to do anything alone. But I mean, but I don't look I don't look towards someone else to to fill me up anymore. Okay, so I'm not looking to I'm not looking toward that. I don't even know how to explain that. You've got to find your own passion, right? Like I gotta mention her name. I don't even know after 22 minutes if she's still watching this video, because it's pretty long. Like this subscriber, Sheer Core, did a beautiful caricature painting of me, and she put it on her channel. And you know, she really looked like you. She just, when she's showing off her paintings and her caricatures and everything, she looks so alive and full of, because she's doing her art. And I think that, you know, finding her niche, her passion, and doing, you know, these paintings, these sketches, these drawings and paintings, you know, as being an artist, share the artist, that you know, she's finding passion and liveliness in herself. See, she doesn't have to go outward to get it, you know. And you can see, like, the last couple of videos I've seen of her, you know, it's not just because she did a beautiful, stunning job of a, you know, painting of me. It's that because I could see that she's finding, you know, look, I'm good at this. I'm a real artist. I'm doing these paintings, you know, and and she's feeling good about herself. And she's feeling good about herself from herself, not from someone else. See? That's what it's all about. Feeling good about yourself from yourself, not from what other people are saying. Get it? So go find that which you really feel passionate about, and do it, and feel good about you, you know, yourself.